Okay, good morning everyone. All of you can hear me?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Have you tried yesterday's that NCR NPR based questions? Sorry, NCR questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyway, I'll want to discuss if at all you have doubts little later. Actual binomial theorem I want to start today. What is today's date?
29.
Actually, yesterday afternoon I wanted to record a class and send it. Okay. So that I'm not missing the class. I was busy. Maybe if possible, I'll try to do it today. Okay. So you can say binomial theorem once again if you want, you can put heading. The previous ones are like prerequisites that you should have known. Okay. Binomial theorem, basically we have two formulas, I can say, or three formulas. First formula is x plus y whole power n. How the formula came, I'll explain, but x plus y whole power n is equal to nc0 x power n, nc1 x power n minus 1 y, nc2 x power n minus 2 y square, plus nc3 x power n minus 3 y cube. At the last, you will get ncn y power n. Megavani, mute yourself. This is ncn minus 1 x y power n minus 1. ncn minus 2 x square y power n minus 2. Okay, starting from here, ending here. These are this expansion of this. I'll explain in detail. First, you write these things. This can be written in sigma form also like this. Sigma r equal to 0 to n, r equal to 1 to n, 0. NCR x power n minus r y power r. This is a general term. We call it as r plus 1th term. We can even write this as sigma r equal to 0 to n tr, where tr is equal to, I can write in next line is better. This is equal to sigma r equal to 0 to n tr plus 1, where tr plus 1 equal to ncr x power n minus r y power r. If you put r equal to 0, you'll get first term, r equal to 1 second term, r equal to n plus 1 term. Because the series has total not n terms, n plus 1 terms. Just write these things. I'll give you a proper explanation, background of all these things. All right, completed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I'll explain in detail. Just you can write these things and we'll see. Okay, in this only, I think in the beginning only you write, in the previous whatever your statement you write, there you should write n belongs to natural number. Somewhere you write that. small n belongs to natural number. Okay, second point is also small n belongs to natural number. 1 plus x whole power n is NC0. NC0 plus NC1 into x plus NC2 into x square. This is n. That is x. NC3 x cube, so on up to NCn x power n. This also we can write sigma r equal to 0 to n NCr x power r. Or you can write sigma r equal to 0 to n tr plus 1, where tr plus 1 is equal to NCr x power r. Okay, within this I want to write one more point. If I want x plus 1 whole power n, let us say n is a natural number, x plus 1 whole power n. That will be NC0 x power n, NC1 x power n minus 1, NC2 x power n minus 2, at the last NCn, and before that NCn minus 1 into x. This will be sigma r equal to 0 to n NCr x power n minus r. That is sigma r equal to 0 to n tr plus 1, where tr plus 1 is NCr x power n minus r. This and the previous one are same, where we took x equal to 1 and y equal to x. That's all. The first one what we have done, this is the same. Actually 1 plus x whole power and x plus 1 whole power and same only, no? There is no difference.
Sir.
But it is about the order that we write. Here we are writing increasing powers of x. Here we are writing decreasing powers of x. And NC0 and NCn are same. Since the last term here, first term here are same only. There is no difference because NCr equal to NCn minus r, right? Okay. There is no difference between these two, but still there is a reason that we are writing like this only. I will tell you what is that. Maybe I should have explained first and then I would have written this, but it's okay. No problem. All right, everybody copy? Okay, third point. Mod x less than 1 and n is any real number. It can be negative integer, fraction, no problem. 1 plus x whole power n is equal to 1 plus nx plus n into n minus 1 by 2 factorial into x square plus n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 by 3 factorial into x cube. So on forever. This is an infinite series. Till the previous two cases, what we wrote is ending with some term, but this is an infinite series. On my side, we already know this. This is NC0, this is NC1, this is NC2, this is NC3. but it is not exactly that. This is forever, and n is a not natural number. N is a real number. It can be -1, it can be 1/2, it can be -5/7. You can write forever or you can write ad infinitum. Anything, both are same. Some people sometimes they'll write ad infinitum. Ad infinitum is just a another language word we are using forever. Okay, but not that ad infinitum is a great word and forever is not a great word. Just we get somehow fixed upon some words. Anybody heard of RSVP? At the end of invitation cards, people write RSVP. Anybody heard that? Nobody heard. Okay. Many times at the end of an invitation card, you'll find RSVP. People just write, sometimes they don't know what it is. I think it is some kind of French word. Some responde, something. Basically, it means whether you are coming or not, please reply. Please inform us. Please reply. That's the meaning of that. So why we have to use a French word? You can just write please reply in simple English. All right. Anyway. Okay. So now let me explain this. Let us see the binomial theorem with the natural number as the power. That means everybody knows a plus b whole square expansion, a square plus 2ab plus b square. We can even write b square plus 2ab plus a square also, right? Both are same. Okay. A plus b whole cube is a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. Why not in reverse order? Why not this is first term, this is second term, this is third term, this is fourth term? We can write any order. Just for pattern, we want to write here powers of A are decreasing and powers of B are decreasing. Okay, we know these two formulas. Let us say I want to get a plus b whole power 4. I don't know. I can make it. How? Take this and multiply with a plus b. Will I get a power 4? That a plus b whole power 4?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first this into this will come a power 4. Next, this into this and this into this. Both will give you a cube b. This is one a cube b. This is one 3a cube b. Together it is 4a cube b. Am I right? Let us see what is coming the next term. Let us take this into this, this into this. This is also a square b square, this is also a square b square. What will come? 3a square b square, 3a square b square, 6a square b square. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, I multiplied this. Okay. Let us take product of these two, product of these two. This is 3ab cube, this is ab cube. 4ab cube. Okay. Next, this into this is b power 4. So we got it. If you want a plus b whole power 5, you take this and multiply with a plus b. First you will get a power 5. Next, product of these two is 4 a power 4b and this 5 a power 4b. Next, product of these two and product of these two. 4 a power a cube b square, 6 a cube b square is 10 a cube b square. So we can get a plus b whole power 5, right?
Yes.
There's a reason I'm explaining. We can go on getting, but you can see why Pascal's triangle we are adding two numbers to get the next number. If you want this, are you not adding this 4 and 6 to get that? Okay. There's a very reason where Pascal triangle is built up. By adding two things, you get the next one. By adding these to next one. You can see that when you are trying to find. Am I correct or not?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, these things, whether I tell this or not, is not going to make any difference. Okay? No, but it gives a clarity. What is that? Why are we adding it in Pascal's triangle? Okay? We are actually multiplying the corresponding term. So when you actually do things manually, that really try to find a plus b whole power 4, a plus b whole power 5, you realize what is happening in Pascal's triangle. Like some people ask, the synthetic division is there, dividing a polynomial. Okay, why are we doing this? It is nothing but normal division only. You are not writing x cube, x square and all, you are only writing those numbers, nothing much. Okay, so I can find a plus b whole power 5, a plus b whole power 6, a plus b whole power 7, so on like this, and then observe the coefficients that they are looking like Pascal's triangle and all. Forget about Pascal's triangle and all. Okay, if you want to prove binomial theorem, there are three methods. Okay, method one, which is not so nice method, but is also nice method. You know what is that? Mathematical induction. Okay, why it is nice method and why it is not so nice method? Okay, it may be long, you may feel. Okay, you don't know when
it proves like expression easily, but it's boring.
Okay, all right. But one thing I don't like at mathematical induction is we cannot create formulas, right? Somebody gave you binomial theorem, you can prove it, but it is not a derivation, right? Mathematical induction cannot derive any formula. That's why it's not so nice. Okay. After somebody derived some way, formula is stated, you can prove it. Nothing wrong with it. Okay. But anyway, still I am mentioning this is because sometimes in IP exam it is a 7-mark question. State and prove binomial theorem, and you are supposed to do by mathematical induction. Is it okay? Actually, when IIT was subjective till 2005, okay, mathematical induction used to be a very important topic for JEE Advanced. Every year, one question for sure they used to give some mathematical induction in JEE Advanced. Do you know that? Anybody knows that? No. Till 2005, in JEE Advanced was subjective. Mathematical induction for sure one question is come. It is a very, very important topic. And they are not like simple intermediate proofs. Sometimes proving from k to k plus 1 how it is correct, it requires a specific idea, or it's too lengthy, big expression. But anyway, mathematical induction method, I am not going to tell you. Refer IPE textbook. Okay. Method 2, it is not just the proof, it is actually the actual derivation. Sorry to comment. There are some teachers I know, they know the proper derivation, but I met quite a few teachers. When I asked how binomial theorem is derived, they many times come up with mathematical induction only because maybe it is in the textbook, but it is not that way. Okay, mathematical induction cannot derive, only it's true. But anyway, it is actually very simple thing, nothing great. Let us see. In fact, before this telling binomial theorem, I wanted to ask some other question, but anyway, I'll come back to that. Maybe I should do that also. Okay. Anyway, a plus b into a plus b, so on up to a plus b. Okay, forget about that. Let me ask one question. We'll write down notes about it later on. X plus a1 into x plus a2 into x plus a3, so on up to x plus an. These are total. How many brackets are we multiplying? N brackets. Okay. So when I expand this, I'll get a polynomial. What is the highest power of that term? Highest power of x in the expansion. When you multiply all these n brackets, expand it fully, you'll have x square term.
N only.
N only. So you'll have definitely x power n, something into x power n minus 1, something into x power n minus 2, and finally a constant. You'll have some x coefficient, so on.
Yes.
X power n into what the coefficient will come?
1.
Only 1. Because you multiply x into x into x, all the x only you have to multiply. That is 1. Okay. Anybody want to tell what is the x power n minus 1 coefficient is going to come? X power n minus 1, what is the coefficient? How many times x power n minus 1 will come when you really multiply all these things?
Huh? So is it A1 plus A2 plus so on till AN?
Yes, correct. How is it?
So I took, I just took A plus 1 into A plus 2, then from that I just guessed it.
Okay, no problem. You multiply these two, you will get some idea. Multiply three things, you will get some idea. But purpose I gave n. Let us see. When you are multiplying these two, you have to multiply this into this, this into this, this into this, this into this. When you multiply this. Okay, let me ask another question. I generally teach like this only, but I need more hours. That's why I try to cut short. But I think at the end I have to teach anyway. Not just teaching a formula, give a solid idea about how this one came. Let us say I have a plus b into x plus y into L plus m plus n. Without multiplying these two and then to this, can anybody tell me when you multiply all these three together, what are the different terms that will come? AXL, one term will come or not? AXL. AXM, one term will come? Okay. ABY, any term will come? A cannot be multiplied to B, right? Okay. Will AXY, one term will come?
No.
No.
No, sir.
Okay. So you will get AXL, AXM, AXN. Okay. Next AYL, AYM, AYN. BXL, BXM, BXN. BYL, BYM, BYN. Directly I can write all these answers, right? I don't have to multiply these two first and then I have to multiply to this. Not required. If I have one more, let us say some P plus Q. It may be lengthy to write, but each and every term I can narrate. AXLP one term, AXLQ one term, AYNP one term, AYNQ another term. Like that I can tell all the terms, right? So when you are writing different terms, am I choosing one of these two and one of these two, one of these three, one of these two? Am I correct or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So the main point in this is you cannot multiply these two. In this bracket, definitely one element has to be used and only one element should be used. In this I have to select one, in this I have to select one, in this I have to select one and multiply all those four. That's why I'm writing different things. Okay. Now coming to this, if you want x power n, I have to multiply all the x only. But if I want to get x power n minus 1, in one bracket I have to take constant, but in all other brackets I have to take x. If I take this x into this x into this x into this x, but here constant, then only I can get x power n minus. Or I will take constant here and in every other bracket x. So in one of the bracket I will take constant, in every other bracket I have to take x and multiply, then only I can get x power n minus 1. So now I think it's very easy. X power n minus 1 is one time this constant, one time this constant, one time this, one time this. It is nothing but a1 plus a2 so on up to an. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
What about this? X power n minus 2, what is the coefficient?
A1, A2 plus A2,
A1, A2
A3,
plus A2,
A3, A4 plus so on. A power n minus 1 into A power n. No, AN.
No. It's some partly it's correct. A1, A2 will come. Even A1, A3 also can come. You can multiply these two constant and everything else check. You can get A1, A4, A1, A5, and A2, A3, A2, A4, A2, A5. All kinds of two things. You can multiply out of these n constant any two and sum of all of them. Right? Then one may ask how will you write that? You have to write it as double sigma ai into aj, I is less than or equal to j. What is this double sigma? You can even write single sigma, not a big issue. Sometimes we write double sigma, we write single sigma, but because two variables are there, we may put two sigmas. I less than or equal to j means sum of this product as long as I is less than j. I can even put 1 less than or equal to this and this. Here only less than, not equal to. You can take any I, any j, but I should be less than j, and I and j should be between 1 and 10. I'm sure, am I covering all the list of the things that are supposed to come here?
Yes, sir.
When I is 1, j can be 2, 3, 4, so on. When I is 2, j can be 3, 4, 5, so on. Like that, I'm covering everything. Okay. So similarly, if I take x power n minus 3, what is the coefficient is going to come?
triple sigma 1 less than or equal to I less than j less than k less than or equal to n ai aj ak.
That's good. Today Megavan is in full swing. She is answering Fatafat. I think I remember 1 year back she was answering sometimes like that. Okay, good to see back to form. Okay. I can take, I'm changing the question slightly now. X plus a, x plus a, x plus a, so on up to x plus a. Okay. Now I want to see x power n, what is the coefficient, x power n minus 1, what is the coefficient, x power n minus 2, so on. X power n is only 1. When I take x power n minus 1 into a also will come. Why? Because out of the n brackets, in n minus 1 brackets I have to multiply x. In one of the brackets I have to take a. Correct? But like this, how many times I will get?
N times.
N times. Because I can choose the a from here or here and x from rest of them. Okay, if I take x power n minus 2, then in two brackets I have to multiply the constant. In all other brackets I have to multiply x. Right? Okay. So I'll get a square, no doubt. A into a square and all the x. But like this, how many times?
N minus 1.
No.
NC2.
Yeah. I can take these two a's, or this a and this a I can multiply, or this a and this a, or this a and this a. How many a's are there? N.
N.
In that any two a's I can select and multiply, I'll get a this term, right?
Yes.
Okay, from n items, selecting two items. How many ways?
NC2.
NC2. That's why it is NC2. Is it okay?
Yes.
If you want a cube n minus 3, x power n minus 3.
NC3.
In three brackets, you have to multiply in a, all other brackets, you have to multiply x. You can choose any three brackets. From n items, selecting three items is NC3. So binomial theorem is proved, right? That's it. And it's not that we are looking for 2, 3, 4, 700 separately. All proved. Okay. But how to write the proof? Okay. It's not so important to write the proof. It's important to. I generally don't even like giving notes. Actually, for many years, I used to teach orally only. Okay. Never used to give any notes so much. Even big questions, I used to tell do like this, and sometimes I used to write. I never used to ask people to copy. Sometimes depends on the students. I may have to ask them to write because they may forget or they need something written form. Sometimes writing limits my teaching. All right, it's okay. So method 2, coefficient of x power r, sorry, x power n minus r into a power r in x plus a whole power n is NCR. Okay. Why? Since choosing R bracket among n brackets for multiplying constants is NCR. If some people don't understand because this is related to permutation combination, don't worry. But I told you from n items, selecting R items is NCR. That much I told, right? Okay. So based on that, coefficient of x power n minus r into a power r in x plus a whole power n is NCR. Why? For that explanation I'm giving is choosing R bracket. That is, you write x plus a into x plus a into x plus a n times. Among them, choosing R bracket among the n brackets. In whichever brackets you have chosen, you are going to multiply the constant. In all other brackets, you are going to multiply x. So for choosing that NCR. I think this explanation is okay, right? Yeah.
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, write X and N little more clarity, sir.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, both these are fine for when n is a natural number. But when n is a negative number or a fraction, 2 by 7, minus 3 by 7, you cannot say from minus 3 by 7 brackets, I'll select 4 brackets. It is meaningless, right? Yeah. So method 3 is especially when mod x is less than 1 and n is a real number, not just natural number. Okay, many expressions can be written as infinite series. Anybody learned that anytime before? Many expressions can be written as infinite series, sum of infinite series. Anybody learned that anytime before?
Taylor series.
Yeah, first year in limits. Have you not learned expansion? Sin x
Yes,
expansion,
sir.
cos x expansion, e power x expansion and all. They all came from Taylor's expansion. Mithun, you're right. What is the Taylor's expansion formula is f of x. Okay, this is called Taylor's expansion, or it is also called Maclaurin series. Or Maclaurin's expansion, both are same. I think Maclaurin gave this formula before Taylor, and Taylor extended to other things, something like that. I don't care about history, but okay. So what does it say? F of x is basically an expression you want to write it as infinite series a plus bx plus cx square plus dx cube, so on. How will you find a if you know f of x?
F of 0.
Yeah, put x equal to 0. And how will you find b?
Dash 0.
Differentiate on both sides and then put x equal to 0. Yeah. If you want to find c, differentiate twice and put x equal to 0. If you want d, differentiate thrice. So based on that, what we will have got is f of 0 plus f dash 0 by 1 factorial into x, f double dash 0 by 2 factorial into x square, f triple dash 0 by 3 factorial into x cube, so on. Okay, this is the Taylor's expansion. Now based on that, one plus x whole power n. If I want to use this formula, when I put x equal to 0, what will happen to this?
1.
1. And f dash 0. When you differentiate this, what's the derivative of 1 plus x whole power n?
N into 1 plus x power n minus 1.
When you put x equal to 0, it will become n. That's how we'll get n by 1 factorial into x. When you differentiate twice, n into n minus 1 by 2 factorial into x square, and n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 by 3 factorial into x cube. This is the first, this is a derivative, the second derivative, this third derivative, so on. But it is forever. Okay. Now, for example, if n is let us say 7 by 9, this is 7 by 9. This is 7 by 9 into 7 by 9 minus 1 by 2 factorial. This is 7 by 9 into 7 by 9 minus 1 into 7 by 9 minus 2 by 3 factorial. But you cannot write like this as 7 by 9 C3. No. Because when you talk about NC3, n is natural number only. Okay, so we don't write this. Because NC3 is from n items selecting 3 items. From 7 by 9 items, you cannot select 3 items. Okay. In our regular binomial theorem is also covered in this. You know why? When n is an integer, after some time, let's say n is 10. When you write n into n minus 1 into n minus 2, so on up to n minus 10 by 10 factorial, it will become 0 or not?
Yes, sir.
And then n onwards, everything will be 0. So this infinite series where all the rest of the quotients are 0, you will get your regular binomial theorem also in this, nothing wrong. Yeah, so this is covers regular binomial theorem plus something more, that when n is any real number also, it is applicable. But for any other real number, for this infinite series to be finite, this condition is required that mod x is less than. Okay, because when mod x is more than 1, this series, maybe it is true, but should be diverging or converging. We have to check that. So I don't want to comment on it right now. Okay. All right, leave this. Okay, everybody copied this much?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Especially when n is -5 or something, you can see it goes forever. This is -5 by 1 factorial. This is -5 into -6 by 2 factorial. This is -5, -6, -7 by 3 factorial, and goes, doesn't stop anywhere. Okay. So even though I told you about how to, binomial theorem came very easily, or by this expansion, or by math induction, I generally always try to teach from the beginning like this, that you write a plus b whole power 1 is a plus b. Don't have to write this, just listen. A plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. A plus b whole cube is a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. And a plus b whole power 4 is a power 4 plus 3a cube b plus 4a square b square plus 3ab cube. Sorry. This is 4 and this is 6. This is 4 and this is b power 4. And a plus b whole power 5 is a power 5 plus 5a power 4b 10a cube b square plus 10a square b cube plus 5a b power 4 plus b power 5. I can write forever. Okay, but I want you to notice one thing. When power is 1, we have 2 terms, right? And when power is 2, we have 3 terms. And when power is 3, we have 4 terms. And when power is 4, you have 5 terms. When power is 5, you have 6 terms. So when you take a plus b whole power n, when you expand, how many terms will come?
N minus 1.
This one.
N plus 1, 1 extra. When power is 1, you are having 2 terms, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So a number of terms are n plus 1. That is one thing. Next, whatever is the power here, you take any term and add the 2 powers, you'll get same. So this is power 4. Power 3, power 1 together 4. Power 2, power 2. The sum of, that means the degree of each term is 4, because here also degree is 4. Is it okay? Next, you can see the power of a is decreasing. A power 4 and no b at all. Next a cube, next a square, next a, and here no a at all. It's like a power 0. Power of b is increasing. No b here. Power of b is 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. So power of a is decreasing. Power of b is increasing. But some of the powers of a and b is every time same. Okay. One more thing is, to draw a line in the middle, the coefficients are reflexive. That is here 1, here 1. Here 5, here 5. 10, 10. They are symmetric. With respect to this, right side coefficients, left side coefficients are same. That is formula like NCR equal to NC n minus R. Right? You can also see these coefficients are increasing and then decreased. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Here also the increased and decreased. The increased and decreased. So binomial coefficients from NC0 to NCn, they increase and then they decrease. In the middle, you can have 1 greatest term or 2 greatest terms. Next, already I told you about Pascal's triangle, that you write here 1 1, here 1 2 1, 1 3 3 1, 1 4 6 4 1, 1 5 10 10 5 1. If you add the 2 coefficients here, 2 will come. If you add all the coefficients, you get 4 will come. Here 8 will come. Here 16 will come. Here 32 will come. Okay. That is 2 power 1, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 power 4, 2 power 5. Why it will come like this is very obvious. You know why? Put a equal to b equal to 1 on both sides here. What will happen?
2 power 5 32.
Left side is 2 power 5, 2 power 4, 2 cube, 2 square. So it has to come like that. It is not like any great formula, right? You put a equal to b equal to 1, LHS, RHS should come same. Next, sometimes you say in Pascal's triangle that this is 11, this is 121, 11 square, this is 1331, 11 cube, this is 14641, 11 power 4. It is also obvious. I'll tell you why. You put a equal to 10 and b equal to 1. See what happens. This will become 1. This will become 4 into 10, 6 into 10 square, 4 into 10 cube. These are like 10, 10 square, 10 cube, 10 power 4. Are they not place values? So exactly these are the place values. And here when you put a equal to 10, b equal to 1, this is 11 cube, this is 11 square, this is 11 power 1, 11 power 4. Obvious, right? Okay. So why in Pascal's triangle we are getting somewhere 2 power n, Why this is 11 square, 11 cube, 11 power 4 is so simple. It is not like, some magic, right? It has to come. Okay, so these things you don't have to write. Okay, just understand sufficient. Now, I want to tell you from this that a plus b whole power n, when power is 5, first power 5. So, first you will get a power n. Next, you will get a power will decrease by 1, b power will increase by 1. A power n minus 1 into b. Next, a power n minus 2 into b square. Next, a power n minus 3 into b cube. So on. At the last, b power n. And before that, a into b power n minus 1. Before that, a square into b power n minus 2. You can see slowly the power of a decrease and power of b increase. Every time sum of them is n. Of course, the coefficients are this is NC0, this NC1, this NC2, so on. Is it all right?
Yes.
Now, it's very important that somebody may, why should I write like this? I write in reverse order. No, you should write like this only. It's not that reverse order is wrong, but if somebody asks me what is the second term in this expansion, I say this and you say this by writing reverse order, there will be some confusion, right? So, when we say second term, here it is this only, it is not this. Okay? Okay, so that is the reason I wrote 1 plus x whole power n expansion and x plus 1 whole power n expansion both. Even though both are same, the first term in each, the third term in each, they are different. So when somebody asks me a plus b whole power n in this fourth term, I should write NC3 a power n minus 3 b cube only. Even though I can write a cube b power n minus 3, no. Why? Because very first term is a power n. Next, that is NC0 if you want you can write. Next is NC1 a power n minus 1 b. NC2 a power n minus 2 b square. NC3 a power n minus 3 b cube, so on. The power of a should decrease and power of b should increase. This is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. Another important thing is when you want fourth term, you write 3 plus 1. You write 4 as 3 plus 1. Because the formula in that I gave it as CR plus 1 equal to NCR a power n minus r b power r. So when you write the term as r plus 1, that r will come here, here, here like this. So if you want T4, you write T3 plus 1 so that you have to write NC3. Power of second term b will be 3 and the power of first term will be n minus that. For example, if I take x plus y whole power 20, what is sixth term? I have to write T5 plus 1. What should I write then?
NC5 into a power n minus 5 b power.
20 C5 y power 5 and x power
N minus
20
5.
20 minus 5. Yeah, it is this. So we should not change the order. Which is the first term, which is the second term. So. Okay, it's good to do some simple IP questions to expand some binomial things, but let me see, just 1 minute. Anyway, just the other day I was talking to Narasimha Naidu because we wanted to have some interactive session with the juniors. So I was talking about in his class what the different people when they went into which IIT, which branch, and all that. Okay. Frankly, as teachers, when we were teaching, 10 years back, 15 years back, we could actually tell which student could actually go into IIT, based on their sharpness, capacity, and within few months we get an idea that these people are capable. But over years, what happens? I understood that our opinion should change. Why? Because 15 years back and now, is the number of IITs are same? No, right? Am I audible to all of you?
Yes.
Yeah. So a number of IITs have increased and the number of seats have increased. Okay. So at least from last 4 years, I can say this. There are some students, they did not answer my question nicely, or I was not so happy with their sharpness. Okay. But they went into IIT. Okay. I felt little bad that I should have encouraged them little more, maybe all these 2 years. Okay. So some of you who are working sincerely, I'm not talking about those who are neglecting studies. Okay, I'm not talking about them at all. Those are sincere, but if they feel they are not very sharp, they are not able to do advanced material so much comfortably or in the exam. You don't worry, be sincere. You will realize after a year you will be in IIT. Okay, so you should not give up. And actually, only with the mains preparation also you can get a reasonable advanced rank. But if you do advanced material and write exams irrespective of the marks, in the exam you will be able to manage the questions. You can decide which questions. You will not be scared about the paper. You are already seen enough times. Okay, again, I don't want to encourage anybody, if I don't study also, I'll go to IIT. I'm not saying that. If somebody thinks that, advanced material papers are tough, they are not even getting 30% marks and all, just continue to be sincere and keep your best efforts. Okay, so some of these questions which are on the screen, I want to do some of them. Maybe in this chapter I can do odd numbers and all, maybe a little better. Okay, let me give a little more explanation, then we'll let us do. And these people, not only they got IIT rank, they're studying in IIT. Getting IIT rank is different, getting IIT seat is different, right? Especially the last ranks, once you cross 15,000 and 12,000 or 20,000 or something like that, rank may be getting, but we may not get at least reasonable seat. Okay, so the binomial theorem expansion, I told you how to find some terms. But let us see one or two more things. X plus a whole power n plus x minus a whole power n. When you expand this and expand this, okay, sometimes will get cancelled, right? First of all, let me write x minus a whole power expansion. Okay, let us see what is x minus a whole power n expansion. You can treat it if you want as x plus minus a whole power n. Very simple. NC0 x power n. NC1 x power n minus 1 minus a power 1, NC2 x power n minus 2 minus a whole square, so on. As simple as that. But if you want, you can write NC0 x power n minus NC1 x power n minus 1 into a plus NC2 x power n minus 2 into a square minus NC3 into x power n minus 3 into a cube. Alternately, plus minus you will get. If you want to write in general, sigma r equal to 0 to n tr plus 1, where tr plus 1 is ncr x power n minus r a power r, but into minus 1 whole power r you have to write. Of course, these two together I can write minus a whole power r because simply a is replaced with minus a. But we can also write like this. So now coming to x plus a whole power n plus x minus a whole power n. Sometimes will get cancelled, right? What is the very first term in this expansion? NC0 x power n. In this also NC0 x power n. The first terms will get added up or they'll get cancelled?
Added up.
Added up.
And the second terms will get cancelled. Third terms will get the second terms will get cancelled. Third terms will get added up. So it will be 2 times NC0 x power n plus NC2 x power n minus 2 a square plus NC4 x power n minus 4 a power 4. So, what is the last one depends on whether n is even or odd. Should I get NCn or NCn minus 1? Because 0, 2, 4, 6, only those will come. When n is 21, very last term will be 21C20, right? And when n is 100, very last term will be 100C100. Whatever is the last possible even number. That's why I did not write the last. If I subtract these two, x plus a whole power n minus x minus a whole power n, that will be very first time will get cancelled, second time will get added up. It will be NC1 x power n minus 1a, NC3 x power n minus 3a cube, NC5 x power n minus 5 a power 5. So, sorry, you cannot see that. Okay. What if sometimes we have three terms? Let us say I have a plus b plus c whole power n. How to expand this when you have three things? There is something called trinomial theorem. Binomial theorem means when you have two terms. When you have three things, it is trinomial theorem. We also have multinomial theorem. There are so many terms, what to do? We'll discuss that. But before that, let us see how to expand this. You take this as one thing and this separate. You can write it as a plus b plus c whole power n. And now expand by binomial theorem. You will get NC0 a plus b whole power n plus NC1 into a plus b whole power n minus 1 into c, NC2 into a plus b whole power n minus 2 into c square, plus NC3 into a plus b whole power n minus 3 into c cube, NC n minus 1 into a plus b into c power n minus 1, and at the last NCn c power n. Should we leave it like this? No. You have to expand this further, expand this further, expand. Use binomial theorem so many times for each one. Okay, we'll leave it here. We are not going to write it, but you have some idea that you have to expand this. Okay. Anybody want to tell if I expand this further, this further, this further, total how many terms will come?
Sir, n plus 1.
N plus 2.
If I take a plus b whole power n, that will have n plus 1. These themselves are n plus 1 terms. But when you split it this into this is becoming two terms now. When you expand this, more terms will come, like the total amount. Number of terms in expansion of a plus b plus c whole power. I should tell number of distinct terms. In this alone, when you expand, how many terms will come? The very first one.
n plus 1.
And in this,
N.
this will give you n terms. If I multiply C also, there will be n terms or there will be more?
N only, sir.
N only. You take some 10 terms and multiply C, there will be same 10 terms. So number of terms in this is, this will have n plus 1 terms in further expansion. Because whenever power is n, number of terms are n plus 1. This will have n terms. This will have n minus 1 terms. The last 2 terms and the very last one is 1. It is sum of first n plus 1 natural numbers. So it will be n plus 1 into n plus 2 by 2. If you want, you can even write this as n plus 2 C2. Okay, I don't have to explicitly tell you that in binomial theorem, when power is n, number of terms is n plus 1. That is already known. Okay, why you have to tell the word distinct terms? Why it is important is, let us say I multiply A into B, or A into B into A, or B into A into A. They are not three different terms. They may be three different terms. This also A square B, this also A square B, this also A square B. All put together is 3A square B. Correct, no? Yeah. So we are not going to take these are different terms, these are terms. Similar terms are added together and considered as one term in the when you multiply. Okay. So anyway, let us try to at least write few expansions so that it will be clear. And tomorrow we may do some questions in the mains material. We'll see tomorrow. What is it? I wanted to say this. Yeah, let us write few binomial expansions. Okay. Take 1 plus x whole power 6 and write the binomial expansion. And a plus b whole power 6, whole power 5. And 2x plus 1 whole power 4. Try to write these expansions by using the binomial formula. And we will simplify the coefficients. 61, 62, all those values you have to find. So 1 plus x whole power 6 is 60 plus 61 into x, 62 into x square, 63 into x cube, 64 into x power 4, 65 x power 5, 66 x power 6. This is 1, this is 6, 62 means 650. Don't copy, try to do it on your own. I'm just writing. That's all. Okay, everybody could finish all these three expansions.